if you saw Tularam going about his daily chores. Though uneducated, he is hugely respected as the medium of Hidimba Devi. Tularam is a Harijan, a caste considered almost untouchable by many. In fact, even today, most locals will not eat or drink anything from Tularam's house. However, his status as a gur is a great equalizer. And it is this status which earns Tularam his livelihood. He gets a small percentage of the money from the collections made at the temple. He also earns a little from the various shamanic consultations he does on a daily basis. Tularam lives simply in a tiny cottage in the village of Old Manali, along with his wife and son. His life is totally dedicated to his goddess. Besides being required for any ceremony, ritual or festival of the Devi, Tularam is on call whenever anyone needs guidance from their Devi. A few days later, I make my way through the village of Old Manali to Tularam's home. Gurji, is this your father's photograph?
Hanji. This is my father, my mother, and I am sitting in her lap. You see, my father was a gur for 60 years. He was a very talented man. Even I don't know that much. He was very powerful.
So did you realize that after your father, you will also become a gur?
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't know.
No, not at all.
So when did it happen?
After 9 years of his death, I became a gur. One day, I just felt an electric current running through me. And that day, I just ran like a madman to the temple. Over there, while in trance, my cap was thrown off by a palanquin, and I became a gur.
So who trained you as a gur?
I had a guru.
You had a guru, a teacher.
Yes, and he taught me a lot.
So what did he teach you?
No, I can't tell you that. If need be, I will tell my son when the time is right and if the Devi chooses him.
Guruji, tell me something now.
Well, he taught me the ancient language, rituals, ceremonies. See, you are in a film line. You have to learn how to handle the camera and other things like that only.
How do you invoke Hidimba Devi?
When I invoke the Devi, then I meditate and chant some mantras. And then the Devi comes.
What do you feel at that time?
I feel like a rush of air running through my body.
You can't remember anything?
No, I can't remember at all. Only other people will know what Devi has said.
You know, I shouldn't say this, but after your father, will you become a gur?
If the Devi wants, then I may become a gur.
Would you like him to become a gur?
No, I don't want him to become a gur. Because it is a very tough life. We have to go along with Devi, wherever she goes. Even if we are eating and someone says, Gur, come along, there is some work, then we have to leave that food and go along with them.
Yes, I've seen that you have to walk bare feet for long distances. How do you manage?
It is really difficult. We have to go through a lot of physical hardship.
Guruji, why do you get into such an intense trance in the place of Ghatotkach? You take out your tongue.
That's when the Devi wants to show her presence to the people. When she wants to ensure their faith in her, the Devi expresses her power.
Some people say that at times you do get into trance, but at other times you may fake it and do a performance. Is that true?
See, the Devi is there for the good of the people. And if good must happen, then whether it happens like this or this, what difference? So, when the Devi sorts out your problems, then you have faith.
But do you feel tired later on?
Just a little bit. You see, it's like we had a couple of drinks. I just feel slightly intoxicated.
Okay, thank you so much, Guruji.
Thank you,
Thank
Ji.
you for your time.
Thank you very much. Please take care.
Later, Tularam walks me out. And as I watch him greet a friend, I realize that even though he's not very articulate, he is a master shaman. And in that lay his brilliance. I was no closer to understanding Tularam's divine possession trance. But maybe I had been hankering for an explanation, an intellectual understanding where none was possible. After all, it was in the realm of imagination and experience. Back in my urban myth, I meet up with the eminent psychoanalyst and author Dr. Sudhir Kakkar to get his point of view on shamans.
Well, the shaman's role is a very important one in any community, and the most important is to connect it to the sacred. He is also the transmitter of the past and the mythology of the community, so he is a storehouse of the myths of the community. And all this is done through very, very effective ways, dramatic performance. And dramatic performance is more effective in communities which are not literate, or even literate communities. People prefer drama much, much more because that involves emotions.
And it impresses the conscious a lot more.
It much more. We all know that
Yes.
any information, even if it is given in form of stories with a lot of emotions, you retain it much better. So that is the main sociological function of the shaman.
But when he goes into trance possession, what's happening?
When he goes into trance position, what is happening is that there is an altered state of consciousness he is coming into. An altered state of consciousness, he accesses another personality. Now, most of us do not have personalities and are unconscious. We have various kind of small bits and pieces. In the shamans, through long practice, all those bits and pieces have combined into one personality, the Devi.
The shaman and the psychoanalyst both represent two diverse worldviews. Were these two viewpoints incongruous? Did the gurus actually travel into different realms to commune with the spirit world? A shaman was a medium and a myth keeper, but what exactly was his role and importance in this society?
Hi, Meru.
I request Meru to introduce me to other gurus to further my investigation.
Now I can take you to Shuru. We have a very strong Devi and very powerful. And the shaman is also quite strong. So,
Why is she powerful?
like lots of people go for their healings, like whatever problems they have. So, Hanji. So they go and do the pooch there. So
What's the pooch?
Pooch is like asking the question to the Devi through the shaman.
So does he go into trance then?
Hanji.
Acha.
The
So he goes into trance
trance
and he answers for the Devi.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Devi
Yeah,
answering
it's a Devi talking.
to her people.
Yeah, to her
Acha,
people.
that's interesting. So definitely we should go and see that. Huh?
Yeah.
Meru and I make our way to Shuru village. Shuru village is named after Sharvari Devi, considered to be an extremely powerful goddess, known for her immense healing powers and benevolence. And HARDAYAL is her gur. This amiable man has been the voice of Sharvari Devi for 20 years. Unlike most Himachali gurs, he does not come from a family of gurs. Sharvari Devi chose him out of the blue.
19 years ago, our Devi was visiting her brother Shandil Rishi in the neighboring village. I first felt the divine possessions over there.
Okay, so you got into trance then?
I don't remember anything, but people tell me that I got into a major trance and walked all the way from my home to the festival ground. And I went and sat next to the Devi's Rath. Suddenly, the snake Devta Rath from Prini village came to me and pulled my cap off. It is believed here that once the cap falls, we are declared as the Gur.
Soon, HARDAYAL is on a special platform surrounded by lots of locals who have come for his pooch session. HARDAYAL begins to ritually invoke Sharvari Devi. He rings the Devi's sacred bell with one hand and holds the sacred urn containing juniper in the other. Both are important to induce trance. Now he chants mantras and offers flowers to the four directions. The priest assists him, acting as both the interpreter and the rememberer of the Devi's words. HARDAYAL deeply inhales the juniper smoke. He puts some juniper leaves in his mouth and plucks a hair from his forehead, asking for the Devi's blessings to enable him to speak her words appropriately. And then he lets his cap fall. People wait expectantly for the divine visitation. Suddenly, HARDAYAL begins trembling. And then shaking uncontrollably. And he slowly dissolves into the divine. His persona changes completely. The somber ambience of the pooch now transforms into a vibrant question and answer session with the Devi. This family is here to ask the Devi for the cause of their spell of ill health. Now the Devi gets angry and questions their faith. The man begs for forgiveness. Meru tells me that the Devi has asked the family to come back for another pooch. Deities usually insist on repeated visits to ensure the endurance of faith. This man is here to ask the Devi for a solution for the huge losses in his business. He relentlessly pleads with the Devi for redressal. HARDAYAL puts a few grains of rice in his hands. Meru explains that this is also a method of divination. HARDAYAL will interpret the number of rice grains in the man's hand. I note that the locals openly discuss all their problems with their Devi. They come to her even with their mundane issues, like causes and cures of illnesses, dates for sowing, harvesting or weddings. Financial troubles or personal problems are all brought to the feet of their Devi. I find this ease with which people talk to their deity very fascinating. It's like a hotline to God. The shaman is only a portal, a facilitator in their cosmic conversations. I ask one of the ladies present about why she's here.
My whole family keeps falling sick. My sisters feel that they are gripped by an unseen force while they are asleep at night, and when they open their eyes, no one is there. So I came here to ask the Devi what is wrong.
Acha, tell me, have you come here for the first time?
Yes, first time.
So why didn't you consult the Devta of your village?
We don't have puja sessions in our village.
Why is that?
We don't have a gur. We just have the idol of our deity. So even though our deity knows our problems, he doesn't speak to us, and neither can we ask him to solve them. If he had a gur, we could communicate with him.
So, without a gur, people cannot communicate with the divine. And in this lies the gur's relevance and importance. The summer months melt into the rains of July and August. I set out to explore several villages in the valley to experience for myself the incredible system of belief.
The belief in this valley is that the Devi and Devtas are most powerful here. Every tradition and custom is done according to the will of the deity. They conduct their lives according to the guidelines of the deity.
Besides individual problems, deities are always consulted for all community issues. Here, two gurs attempt to solve a dispute between their two villages. The village folk discuss the issue with their deities through the gurs. The deities offer a solution which is hotly debated. Finally, the deity's mandate is accepted, willingly, gracefully, and without rancor. Village deities govern the social, cultural, moral, and religious life of the village folk in all matters, mundane or grave. These conversations with God or pooch sessions have two things in common. The first is the drama that a pooch session contains. The drama is important to impress the psyche. And therefore, the ability of the gur to perform in an arresting manner is extremely essential. The second commonality is, of course, the deep faith of the people in their gods and their collective religious mythology.
You have to have faith. Faith can move mountains. If you approach the deity with faith vis-a-vis skepticism, then anything is possible. But if you don't have faith, you will get nothing.
Being a product of the urban myth, I was skeptical, till my up-close and personal pooch session a few weeks later. It's early fall and the monsoon is over. The breeze is cooler and the apples have ripened. Today, Meru is taking me to meet a contemporary Indophile, Chris OLDMEADOW, who has been living here for 33 years. So, Chris, Meru tells me that you've been living here for 30 years?
I'm married to one of the local ladies from the Kullu Valley.
And he says you have 5 kids?
6.
You have 6 children, wow. So you're a pakka local,
Yeah.
pakka desi.
5 daughters, 1 son.
Yeah, okay. There's your beer.
Oh, thank you very much.
No, but now that you've been, been in this whole system for 30 years, do you kind of believe it? Do you follow it?
Sure.
You do?
It's a part of my culture now, I suppose.
Meru tells me that your brother-in-law is a shaman. Yeah?
Yeah, he's a shaman, yeah. And I mean, most of my in-laws are shamans or
Really?
gurus or
So you've seen
pujaris.
them for the last 30 years?
Yeah.
And do you believe in the shamans?
Yeah.
And what's special about your brother-in-law?
On occasions, he does go into fire.
He goes into fire?
And it doesn't burn the hairs on his leg or it doesn't burn the
Yeah?
flesh.
So can I meet him?
Sure. Actually, in a week's time, we have a pooch going on at our place.
Sounds good. And
Conduct-
what's going to happen?
We're going to have to wait and find out.
Meru and I walk 3 hours uphill to Chris's home, literally atop a mountain. Chris's youngest son Harry escorts us in our arduous but lovely climb.
We are having a special pooch at home.
How come?
My sister is sick, so we need to ask the Devta's help.
Earlier in England, Chris was a police officer. Now he is a tour operator and organizes angling trips. But he was hooked by Shanta, who has reeled him into a life of domestic bliss. Completely in tune with the local way of life, Chris has found acceptance even in this conservative society. Chris's brother-in-law, who I'm here to meet, is the gur of NAGDHUMAL, who is a snake god. Tej Singh comes from a family of gurs and performs the dual role of a shaman and a priest for his god. Finally, we reach Chris's quaint cottage. We are warmly welcomed by Shanta. Shanta ji, your home is so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Soon, Chris, Shanta, their 5 daughters, Tetsing and I gather in the attic for the pooch session. This will be a personal inquiry from the Devta to seek the cause and a solution for their daughter's illness.